arrest.
Family of the woman who died while in police custody in 2014 has called for charges to be laid against the officers involved. Ms. Dhu, a 22-year-old Yamachi woman, was arrested and detained for outstanding fines and ultimately died after days of crying for help.
These blurry images documented the final hours of Ms. Dhu as the seriously injured woman was repeatedly taken to and fro between the South Headland Watch House to the Headland Health Camp. As the details of the case unfolded, the then Premier of Western Australia, Colin Barnett, was forced to accelerate the coronial inquest. It concluded in 2016. Ms. Dhu was accused by the police of faking her illness and playing up her symptoms. At the inquiry, Officer Rick Bond testified that he called her an effing junkie. In fact, Ms. Dhu was suffering an injury as a result of being thrown to the ground by her partner.
She can't feel her body. That's what's done. She can't get up. She can't feel her legs.
Coroner Rosalinda Fogliani stated Ms. Dhu had died from septicemia and pneumonia caused by a rib injury sustained prior to her arrest. The family of Ms. Dhu has called for sackings and criminal charges to be brought against the police involved. Despite adverse findings against officers, the police late on Friday said no action would be taken against them.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel here. It's Lavender here, and today I'm doing another true crime case video. Today I'm doing the true crime case of Julieka Dhu, death due to police racism and racism in medicine story. The black woman don't feel pain myth, you know, the healthcare and racism go hand in hand. So let's get started into this video. So yeah, appendicitis. So let's get started into this true crime case. So this case has been featured in a number of media and TV. It was featured in the images of Dhu and her footage of her treatment by police. Australian police has circulated online in association with the Black Lives Matter movement, Say Her Name movement, and other movement, which was credited with creating solidarity between Aboriginal campaigns for justice and North American and global movements all over the world. Singer Felix Rabel composed a tribute song titled Miss Dhu, which released an accompanying music video criticizing the Australian police and the Australian government over her death. An article in the journal Social and Legal Studies argued that Dhu's death was inherently linked to gendered, institutional, and structural racism epidemic to Australia, and the coroner showed little consideration for this and instead attributed the death to a series of individual failures. So on the background of the victim, Julieka Dhu was born on December 26, 1991 in Port Hedland, Western Australia. She was an Aboriginal Australian woman, and she was in a tribe. She lived with her parents until they separated when she was 3, after which she was mostly raised by her grandmother. Although her parents remained in regular contact with her, she was described as a cheerful child whose only health issue was mild asthma. In November 2009, when she was 17, police found her sleeping near Cable Beach. When they woke her, she appeared to be intoxicated and drunk. Police arrested her for disorderly conduct and failing to give her name and address and ID. She was then detained in police custody overnight. She was later released on bail the next day, but failed to appear at her hearing in the children's court and was fined $200. On to the actual story leading up to the true crime case and the events that happened. In 2013, at age 21, Dhu began a relationship with a 42-year-old man named Ruffin, who had several children by previous partners, and unknown to Dhu had criminal convictions for domestic violence. By late December last year, Dhu's mother said that her daughter had become withdrawn and had lost weight. Dhu told her mother that she and her boyfriend were using methamphetamines around the Easter holidays. In 2014, Dhu told her grandmother her boyfriend had physically assaulted her. Her grandmother helped Dhu leave her abusive relationship and ex-boyfriend. Ruffin discovered where Dhu had lived and sought refuge at. After several weeks, persuaded her to return back to him, which is what abusers do. They lived together in a rented house in South Headland, and on July 2014, Dhu told her father that her abusive boyfriend had broken her rib cage. Her boyfriend later subsequently admitted this, saying he struck her after she had stabbed him in the leg with a pair of scissors. And on August 2nd, 2014, police received a telephone call informing them that Ruffin, her ex-boyfriend, had violated the terms of the apprehended violence order, and they went to arrest him, but they also found that Dayu also had unpaid fines, so they fucking arrested her too. And Dayu's fines totaled $3,600 in 22, and she was ordered to serve 4 days in custody. Dayu complained of pain soon after her arrest. When police asked Dayu why she was in pain, she was vague with her answers. Her ex-boyfriend, Ruffin, was sitting nearby when she was questioned. Police officers gave her 2 pain medication tablets and took her to the health campus at 8 p.m. that night. After a brief examination, she was given a score of 4, the second lowest of medical urgency. And the doctor, Dr. Ann Lang, who later addressed Dayu, later told the inquest she believed Dayu's pain was genuine, but that she was exaggerating her condition. Over the next 20 hours, witnesses saw Dayu crying, calling for help, vomiting, and asking to return to the hospital. CCTV footage shows Dayu being asked to rate her pain out of 10, replying 10. When Sergeant Rick Bond went on duty as a senior officer on August the 3rd, he was told of Dayu's condition and telephoned her father to ask him whether they could pay Dayu's fines so she can be released. Dayu's father told Bond he did not have that much money and also told him Dayu was a user of methamphetamines. Bond later told the inquest he formed the opinion that Dayu was faking her condition so she would be removed from her cell. He informed other officers of his opinion. Late that afternoon, police took Dayu, who was handcuffed, back to the health campus. Medical staff notes that Dayu was crying in pain. She was grunting, dehydrated, and had a pulse rate of 126 beats per minute. They did not take her temperature because they had a shortage of thermometers at the time. A nurse in the that was on this case told police that this could be a withdrawal from drugs. And those who witnessed Dayu attending the health campus the previous night performed an ultrasound examination of her chest, then discharged her with, again, pain medication tablets, and declared her well enough to return to police custody. His notes from that night say behavioral issues and drugs. The footage taken when police returned Dayu to the station showed a police officer saying, saying, why did you do all this? You didn't need to do all this. It wasn't an emergency. Also, it showed Bond took another person held in custody to Dayu's cell, told them to look at Dayu, and said, this is what happens. You end up like this woman here. It's a good deterrent not to take drugs. Dayu asked to go to the hospital again on the morning of August 4th, telling officers she was no longer able to stand up. The officer, Bond, told her she was a drug-addicted junkie and that she was full of shit and faking her illness. A woman later testified that she heard Bond whisper in Dayu's ear, "You're a fucking junkie, and you've been to the hospital twice before, and this is not fucking it." Bond said that he had not told her Dayu that she was a junkie, though he said he may have told his other officers in the facility when talking to other officers about the situation. He said that he had told her, "This is the last fucking time you're going to the hospital." CCTV footage shows the officer forcing Dayu into a sitting position from the floor after letting go of her arm. Dayu slumped back down, hit her head on the concrete. The inquest said that Dayu had slipped at 12:30 p.m. Bond sent Dayu to the hospital for the 3rd time, and to the back of the police van. She was escorted out of the hospital again into the police van. CCTV footage captured her moaning in pain, and one of the police officers saying, "Oh, shut up, you're faking it," upon arrival at the health campus. Sorry, she went to the health campus. She's not leaving the health campus, my bad. Miter told a nurse she's just putting it on, she's faking it, it's not real, she's hallucinating that all this stuff is happening. The nurse staff responded by saying she had had a heart attack. A medical team attempted to resuscitate Dayu and it failed. They said that she was faking her condition while they were making resuscitation attempts. That's what the police officer said. 53 minutes after arriving at the hospital, Dayu was declared dead. Her death marked roughly 340 Aboriginal Australians' deaths in custody since the conclusion of the 1991 Royal Commission into the Aboriginal Deaths in Custody. The inquest heard that Dahyu's cause of death was pneumonia and sepsis, sepsis shock. Because sepsis actually has like a 99% fatality rate resulting from her broken ribs caused by her ex-boyfriend 3 months prior to the situation. Her mother later testified in the courtroom that she twice telephoned the police station asking to speak to Dahyu while she was in custody, but that she was refused permission. In the days after the inquest began, Dahyu's family were subjected to a flood of online hate comments suggesting that Dahyu got what she deserves because she was a druggie and a criminal of the law. Police and medical staff contestedly testified they thought Dahyu had been faking her illness. It was later found that police had subjected the victim to unprofessional and inhumane treatment, that both police and hospital staff had been influenced by the preconceived racist ideas about Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal Australians, and that the decision to handcuff Dahyu when she was nearly unconscious was a shameful act. During a video shown, one member of the court's public gallery remarks, "She's being carried like a dead kangaroo, like South Africa, oh God, oh my God." Dahyu's family were unhappy with the result of the inquest, did not hold any person, no police officer, no medical person accountable for her death, and told media they intended to pursue further legal action. And on June 2015, in direct response to Dahyu's death, the West Australian state government announced that the police detention would make safer and that the efforts would be made to keep low-level offenders and youth offenders out of custody. And in September 2017, that year, Dahyu's family were awarded $1.1 million in restitution, in compensation, and received a formal apology from the Western Australia state government. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye guys, see you next video.